What's going on, YouTube? It's One Rabid Panda here. I'm going to be doing my first video today with my Formula Monarch deck, so we'll get straight down to it. I run Trip Battle Fader, Gores, and Trigodia. Those are my battle monsters because you just got to play those guys in this deck. Next up is Trip Caius, just because he's so good, why not play 3? Next up is my favorite Monarch, and I think it's the best one just because sending cards, mainly monsters, back to the top of their deck, especially if you end up setting it, just throws them off. And if I drop 2 or 3 Dryses in a row, you usually win. Next up is 2 Mobius for the Spell and Trap Pate, and he sets up fun plays for like Black Rose or Gungear later. I play a Dark Dust Spirit because he's just great for the field wipe when you need it, and he's so clutch in the mirror match because they can't hit your monsters when he's not on the field then, in other words. And you play 2 Light and Darkness in the deck because forcing your opponent to waste resources, and then he brings back an already killed Monarch or an already killed Synchro. Too good. I play, as my lead engine for the deck is the Gen X engine, because they, in the sheer versatility that Undyne can dump both Fishborg and Treeborn, it just makes him so good. So I prefer to play him as the priority dump of cards. That being said, I still play 2 Swap Frogs because it sets up some fun sacrifice plays, and he's also a priority dump on those. So he's a quick way to just get Fishborg. But I still like the Gen X engine more because it can dump the Fishborg. And the last monster in the deck, and my personal favorite tech that I think every deck should be playing at least one of, is Effect Veiler. Because he just shuts down big combos or signature combos like in the Samurais, the Kageki Buu, Kageki Get Kagemusha. So easy to kill that off. And it's also, I actually was playing a fun game with a friend of mine, actually Team Evolution Gaming. He dropped a Shula on me, and I veiled it, and that pretty much won me the game then. So go on to the spells and trap cards from there. 3 Enemy Controller, just because it combos so well with the Treeborn Frog, why not? I play 2 Avarice, because Pot of Avarice, I cycle through the Synchro monsters with the first Avarice most of the time. And the second one usually just cycles back Monarchs. And when he cycles back 3 formulas, a or Stardust Dragon, and any other monster, it's either a +1. I can make Pot of Avarice Pot of Greed. That's why I like playing 2. 2 Space Typhoons because clearing off back rows makes it so Caius and Ryza can hit monsters. I play 1 for 1 in Foolish Burial, simply to set up the Fishborg and Treeborn Frog and just make that all more alive throughout the entire game. And even if like Undyne, Swap Frog, 1 for 1 or Foolish are dead late game, they're still technically not because I can pitch them for Fishborg. I play 1 Soul Exchange because I hate giving up my battle phase, but it's a nice way against especially the Glad matchup because it's my worst one to clear their guys' arrows off the field and sacrifice for a Monarch. And they can't usually get over 2400 beat stick on its own. Allure because you can combo it with Gen X controller, makes life fun. And 3 staple spells of Trunade, Dark Hole, and Monster Reborn, simply because they're just clutch. And the final card in the deck is 1 Treacherous because Treacherous is a +1, and we love +1s. So I'll go over just a little bit of what I believe is staple in the extra deck for Formula Monarchs, and believe it or not, it's levels 2 and 4. Trip Formula and an Armory Arm, because it wouldn't be Formula Monarchs without these guys, and you hit it so many times, you hit Armory Arm so many times in so many different ways, you can set yourself up easy for the Colossal Fighter Armory Arm OTK. That just makes life so fun. Your opponent has issues answering it, because when you go for it, you usually are able to go for a win shot with it. My side deck is still under construction, but cards that I would definitely recommend being in the side deck for any Formula Monarch deck would be 2 Puppet Plants, because in this deck it's brain control when you're against like those fusion heroes and samurais. It's brain control, and brain control's banned for a reason. And the other being Burial from the Different Dimension. This just goes, oh, you use Chain Disappearance, send both my frogs out of play? Okay, thank you. And you have them back then, and then they're also out of the deck then. Or if they crow during your standby phase, you're like, okay, still in standby phase, drop it, and you still get your Treeborn Frog. The rest of it's still up just to what's in your meta, and what else you think's going to be a bad matchup for you. But if you have any ideas for a side deck option, you can comment in the bottom. And thanks for watching. So you can rate, comment, subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.